Tom Petty, you had a house in Encino in this part of LA that's the setting of Free Falling. But is the San Fernando Valley?
Well, it obviously was a fairly large quake. I would
valley. Most of the damage, we would assume, being in the valley.
And looking, and there goes a woman across the street in her terry cloth robe up to Tiffany's.
The folks down at Caltech told me it was 6.5 or greater.
We do have some preliminary information on that.
It's called the Northridge Earthquake, but it really was the San Fernando Valley earthquake. It was devastating in so many ways.
San Fernando Valley right here.
They certainly remember that devastating day at Caltech, where on January 7th of this year, they held an Earthquakes 101 Media Summit. Scores of Los Angeles-based journalists, including Pete Demetriou of KNX 1070, attended workshops and met with scientists to get a better handle on how to cover the next big quake.
20 years later, are we ready? Maybe. Maybe.
Demetriou even received an earthquake coverage survival guide, something he could have used in the wee hours of January 17, 1994, when he was headed home from a very late night crime scene in downtown Los Angeles.
3 in the morning, I was headed home and then got detoured by another reporter. We discussed things, and I got on the freeway at about Vine Street, going north up the 101. 4:31 and 15 seconds. Mother Nature sucker punches Southern California. You could see everything light up electric blue-green. All the transformers, all the power lines were arcing and blowing out simultaneously. The entire sky turned electric green and then completely black.
The last really strong earthquake felt in Southern California was the 6.4 Sylmar earthquake in 1971. Right now, we're trying to find out if we can get Kate Hutton at Caltech, who's going to give us the live update on this morning's earthquake.
Okay, I'd like to give you a summary of the activity this morning. The preliminary magnitude 6.6 for a quake at 4:31 this morning in San Fernando Valley.
The morning of the earthquake, I was awakened by what felt like the house coming off of its foundation and landing back on its foundation, and I knew we had suffered a major earthquake.
I got bumped out of bed. I got up, tried my phone didn't work. I went out to my car, the phone in my car didn't work. I went back in, I got on my sweat clothes. I got in my car and I rushed to the Santa Monica freeway. It was totally dark. I went down at about 80, 90 miles an hour, and all of a sudden I saw these big lights coming at me the wrong way on the freeway. And what those lights did, I think, was save my life, because I swerved a little bit to get around them, and I saw that the bridge over La Cienega was collapsed, and I would have gone off that bridge.
LA was back in the Stone Age. We later learned that close to 97% of the Los Angeles and Southern California power grid was gone.
It was a scene I will never forget. The haze that hung over Sherman Oaks was the eeriest thing I'd ever seen, and the sun was just beginning to rise at that point.
We had some big arguments about when they were going to get architects and engineers out to the sites, what would be done when. Nobody seemed to know what they're doing. So at this point, I dragged a lot of the leaders into a side office, and I told them, we're going to get private architects and engineers out this afternoon, and I want to see contracts signed by this weekend. And to Pete Wilson and Dean Dunphy, who worked for him, to their credit, they carried the ball over the goal line.
What can you tell us now about the extent of the damage throughout the Southern California from property loss alone?
Tom, we can't estimate what the property loss will be. It's premature to do that. Our concern right now is safeguarding human life and restoration of service.
The Northridge earthquake was really an awakening of the civic spirit of the San Fernando Valley. People who had never met each other came together to focus on working together to rebuild the San Fernando Valley economy.
My ability as a mayor was not that I knew how to get things done, but I knew how to get people to get it done. People like Dave Fleming.
I originally got involved as a volunteer helping develop the strategic plan for the Valley's economic recovery, and out of that met an extraordinary group of civic entrepreneurs here in the Valley. They invited me to serve as the first CEO of the Valley Economic Alliance. I accepted the job because of their spirit, the spirit of business organizations like VICA and VEDC and the United Chambers of Commerce, the Small Manufacturers Association, all agreeing to work together under one umbrella of an economic alliance to get to a greater San Fernando Valley future than we might have realized was even possible in those hours of 1994.
The first meeting I ever went to of the Economic Alliance, I looked around that room and I said, my God, I have never seen so many Valley leaders in one place at one time.
As the chair of the Valley Economic Alliance in the beautiful San Fernando Valley and home to 1.8 million people, I am proud to say that the Valley Economic Alliance has been here for the past 20 years, making a difference, making the Valley a great place to live, work, and play. At the Alliance, we unite with the 5 cities in the region, educational institutions, and businesses to make the Valley second to none.
This is a proud day for the Valley Economic Alliance to be recognized by Councilmember Mitch Englander, also the Los Angeles City Council today, to shed light on the importance of the Valley Economic Alliance.
I want to recognize Krikorian from the Valley Economic Alliance.
We want families and businesses to make San Fernando Valley their home. Our 5 city partners, Calabasas, Glendale, City of San Fernando, the City of Burbank, and the City of Los Angeles united together to form the Valley Economic Alliance to help bring businesses, help families grow, help our students thrive in our schools, from our universities to our community colleges, and more specifically, our K-12 programs. And that's what the Valley Economic Alliance brings economic stability and vitality to the Valley. And we thank you for your leadership and everything you're doing.
But you know something? It's ironic, but the earthquake turned us around. I gave people advice, just ignore the rules, the regulations, or anything. Just do it. If it's ethical, practical, just get it done. And you know, the people of the Valley were the best example of this. They got up, they helped their neighbor, they repaired their houses, they got their business going. Los Angeles was on a roll upwards.
It may have been tough for some people to even envision in January of 1994 where we could get in the succeeding months and years, but with extraordinary political leadership and help from our federal, state, and local governments, full partnerships with the private sector and our education community, we set about rebuilding Cal State University into one of the great state universities of California. Today it has a new performing arts center that's a beacon to all people in the San Fernando Valley to come partner with this university in training the next generation of leaders in the Valley. We built an orange line. We rebuilt factories, the new General Motors plant, infrastructure throughout the communities to sustain a brighter, more diverse, more sustainable economy. All that happened because people came together, spurred on by a tremendous tragedy. People lost their lives that morning, but people came together to make the rest of our lives better for years and years to come.
You know something? 20 years later, the Valley is still the greatest place on earth.